Just a few more details about the conversion of this Canon lens here to fit on the Nikon J1. Originally, you see this is added on. This is a J1 mount. It's actually one of these. It's a C mount converter you can get for about £1 on AliExpress. The Nikon mount is perfect. There's no autofocus connections there, so anything you do put on there is totally manual, as it will be with the C mount anyway. You can also get these handy macro rings that can go between the C mount lens if it is a C mount lens you're using, but obviously on this we're not. Originally, the mount under here, which has got a lip on it, had this female ring on it that was upwards and captive. On the original camcorder, it's a big outside broadcast camera, JVC, from 1980 something, and you would screw this captive ring onto the camera. But this mount underneath here is held on by a few small screws on the inside. Now you can take it off, remove this ring, put it aside for another project, and then what you'll find is if you stand it in the recess on the other side of this mount adapter, it won't quite focus the lens to infinity. So the trick is to get a sheet of glass and several grades of sandpaper from an 80 grit down to maybe a 500 grit. I think was the last I was using, maybe an 800 grit for polishing, and you take this old mount and you hold it flat on the sandpaper on the glass and move it and count 1, 2, 3, 4 to say 10 or 20, and then rotate it just a finger's worth, and then count the same, and then count the same until you've done a full 360 rotation, and then check it again. If you've got a vernier gauge, you might be able to tell exactly how much you need to take off by holding it on there and measuring it for focal length. But little by little, and keep putting it, hold this mount, put the mount on the camera, hold it tight up against it, focus to infinity. If it doesn't quite make infinity, take a little bit more off. You can't put the metal back on, so be careful. And then once it's done and it's focusing, you see there, the shine along there is just a bead of a 5-ton epoxy adhesive, very cheap stuff, very, very strong. Place the adapter like this, and then just put a tiny bead around there, not too much, you don't want it going inside the camera, and then stand the lens on top and leave it the hell alone. For it goes off in well, a few minutes. You've got just time to mix it really and work with it, but don't try using the lens until it's had at least 24 hours to cure, because if you're mounting it, for example, on this little camera here, and the weight of this lens, it's a good hefty lens, and yeah, it will come off, and then you'll smash your lens on the floor. If you're holding the lens, you'll smash your camera on the floor, neither which is great. But you get the epoxy standard 5-ton, they say on there. Whether I trust 5 tons or not, I don't know, but certainly a few kilos of lens, it holds fine. And for one of the other videos that I showed, the J series lens on some time-lapse work, but I'll do some more demos of these very, very nice, pretty, well-made lenses. And this one is like brand new. Picked that up for probably about 15 quid again. Absolutely perfect order. This has got a 2.1 maximum aperture. This V series one has got a 2.2, which for an equivalent 35mm lens of 44mm focal length to 440. It's a big zoom for an aperture like that. And this is a 5 times. This is a 10 times. The J series lenses here don't quite cover the sensor on the J1, but you might like the vignette effect. Also, when you go into your post-production on your editing software, you just put a crop border around it and the vignetting disappears. You'll lose a few pixels around the outside, but who cares really, when you can get lenses of this quality so cheap. And the modern equivalent, if you went to buy the modern equivalent of this Canon electronic news gathering outside broadcast lens, you're talking about like between 3,000 and 5,000 quid for one of them. Okay, this one has got fungus in it, but it was just for a trial. I've got another one coming without. You can always pick them up for less than 100 quid, hopefully without fungus. So you can see what you can get. If you manage to find something with a V series with an actual C mount on there, then you know, you can screw it straight into there. But if not, it's what, an hour's work for an adapter? Nothing really. Thanks for watching. At the end of the video you can click on the link of the demo of the lens. Ciao for now.